Paulie G. Welcome back to the Paulie G Show, coming to you live from high atop Mount Georgia. How are you? We had some excitement here this morning on Mount Georgia. I went out to see my little bird feeders, and I heard quite a ruckus, and a very large mountain lion was chasing a squirrel up the side of my house, and he made it about halfway up. He or she, I don't know which. But this thing was huge and scary, and it looked at me and said, "You better get back in the house here, son. You're going to get yourself hurt." So I managed to snap a couple of pictures, but after that, I went back in the house. He didn't get the squirrel, and he walked off disappointed. But that was fun. But back to the business at hand here. Why are we here today? Epiphone SJ200. So I know recently I've been talking up Gibson and Epiphone a lot based on my experience with the Epiphone Excelente, which I am continuing to enjoy. So based on that, I had wanted to add something to my collection of jumbos, which include the Gibson J200 and J100 Extra, with which I am flanked by on either side. And the reason for that is I feel very reverential to these guitars, and I only use them for specific purposes, really for home enjoyment, and I do take them to the studio to record because they record beautifully. They make great rhythm guitar tracks. But I don't take them out on my acoustic gigs because I'm just worried about them getting damaged, or if I turn my back the wrong way, possibly stolen. Less worried about that so much, more so just the wear and tear. But I wanted to get another jumbo, particularly a sunburst one, for a couple of reasons. I wanted to use it potentially on my acoustic gigs. Sometimes I do full Beatles acoustic shows, and I wanted that sort of George Harrison sunburst J200 aesthetic happening. So I was looking for an Epiphone based on the videos that I watched where people were singing their praises, and also my experience with the Excelente. So I thought, this would be a good risk. So I looked around, I saw one used at a very reasonable price on Reverb, and went ahead and bought it. I've had it for a couple of days now, and I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So, first the specs, right? So we know that this is the Masterbilt series, the Indonesia factory, where the best Epiphone acoustic guitars are being produced. They've been doing these for a couple of years now. This is a 2020. I think that was the first year that these inspired by Gibson models were coming along. So we've got a solid Sitka spruce top. We've got very attractive maple back and sides. We've got a maple neck with a stripe, which I assume is either walnut or mahogany. I don't know. The fretboard is, I believe it's laurel. It's not rosewood, but it has a wood grainy appearance. I think these days they're using laurel as a substitute. It's beautifully appointed with the mother of pearl, real mother of pearl, mind you, inlays on the mustache bridge and the fretboard, 5-layer binding on the front, Kluson Deluxe tuners, which work very well. Overall, a really well-constructed guitar, certainly appearance-wise and just fit and finish-wise. I was certainly impressed with it, almost on a level with the Excelente in terms of its, appearance quality and its visual build quality. Now, I've had the guitar for a couple of days now, and I really wanted to give it some time to acclimate to its new environment. I did a little bit of tweaking to the setup because some things were a little bit out of shape on it. And I wanted an opportunity to just play it a bunch of hours and, I don't know, try to see if I could fall in love with it. And I have to say, being fully honest as I always am, sonically, this guitar is a dud. I give it a D for acoustic sound. And I base that on my supposition that I believe this clear coat is not nitrocellulose lacquer, but rather polyurethane. I'm pretty sure that's the spec on these guitars. It's a nice satiny finish, which I wanted. It gives it a little bit of an antique, kind of vibe, which was another attractive selling point for me. But I just think it's too thick. The guitar just sounds like a piece of plastic. It really does. That's the best way to describe it. Most guitars for me, acoustically, if they're not working for me, it's either because they're a little bit too much on the treble side or too bright and no bass, or the opposite, right? You can have guitars that are really bassy, but you can't get any treble out of it. I can't get either one out of this. I mean, this is a giant, giant guitar. It should be singing for days like these two do. And it just doesn't. So I can only attribute that to the thickness of the clear coating, because the right materials were used, the shape, the bracing inside, everything is the right thing for success here, but the guitar just doesn't resonate at all. And it's incredibly disappointing for me, because I had very, very high hopes. And I've calibrated my expectations. I never expected it to come close to sounding like a Gibson J200 or my 100 Extra. Those are on a different level. This guitar is 25% of the price of those guitars. So I know that going in, and I wanted to spend a couple days again just calibrating my expectations on it, but I just can't get my head around it as far as loving this guitar. It's unfortunate, because I really I don't know if I'm going to keep it. So what I'm going to do, it's got a Fishman Sonicor pickup on it, a medium grade acoustic pickup I would describe it as. They are, if nothing else, very loud pickups. So what I'm going to do, before I really decide to sell this guitar or do whatever with it, is I'm going to try it through my PA system, because when I do my acoustic shows, everything goes right into my mixer and out my PA. I don't use guitar amps or anything like that for acoustic gigs. So I'm going to try it there and see how it sounds. If it impresses me there, I might consider keeping it, using it for some gigs. But otherwise, to just sit and play this guitar, I'm getting no enjoyment out of it whatsoever. And I'm really sorry to have to say that, because I've had a lot of good experiences lately with Gibsons and Epiphones, and this was something that I had very high hopes for. So now, granted, my scientific training factors into this, and I say, well, this is a sample of one. You've only tried one of these, Paul. This is the first one I've ever played. I've never played a Masterbilt J200 before from Epiphone. But the problem with that is, it's not like you can go to your guitar store and try 3 or 4 of these out. They're never there. These are on perennial back order. Even Sweetwater and Musician's Friend, none of them have these in stock. They're always on back order. So it's one of these situations that we're in where you have to buy the guitar and just hope you like it. And if you don't, you've got to sell it or send it back. I got this used, so it's my guitar now. So I'm going to have to, if I decide not to keep it, I'm going to have to sell it. So, but it's a sample of one. So I know there's been a lot of great videos on there. People are having great experiences with these and loving them. But this guitar now sells for right around $1,000, if you were to buy it brand new. And I just don't hear this as a $1,000 guitar. It really looks like a $1,000 guitar. It's beautifully appointed. It's well crafted. But sonically, it's just not there. There's way better guitars out there for $1,000 or in that price range than this. I'm really sorry to say. And I don't want to play a big jumbo guitar that sounds like, a tiny little, triple O or something like that. That's more comfortable to play. Then what's the point, right? The whole point of me playing jumbos is because the more I develop as a player, that's suiting my style. I'm not a finger picker. I'm not a bluegrass player. I'm not a good flat picker. I'm a chord strummer. I play songs, I bang chords, and I play loud and aggressive. And, the jumbos really suit that style of playing, at least for me right now. Will I be that way 10 years from now, 5 years from now? I don't know. But that's where I am today. So I don't want to play a jumbo that doesn't sound like a jumbo. There would be very little point in that. So one of the things I'm considering, if I decide not to keep it, is there's actually a brand called Sigma. They don't make them anymore, but you can still find them online here and there. They make a facsimile of the J200 as well. It's called the SG200, and it looks essentially identical to this guitar. And from everything I've seen and read, it's a better guitar than this. It's definitely nitrocellulose lacquer coated, and I hear them resonating just a lot more than this. They're going to come in right around that $1,000 mark, so they're right in line with the cost of these. So I may look into getting one of those if I decide not to keep this guitar. And again, I hate to kind of give this review, but I got to be honest, and when I get something that is unsatisfactory, I have to say it. And this is definitely something that is kind of turned out to be a disappointment, I'm sorry to say. So that's no take on all the other people that are on YouTube and have had great success with them. I'm glad that you did, and I'm glad you're enjoying them. But this one is not working for me. So I hope to have better news next time. I'm sure I will. And I hope you're having a great summer. And that's all. I just wanted to share this information with you. And anyway, this is Paulie G saying, when it comes to guitars, you only need one more. See you next time.